seashells and artifacts. So that will give you more opportunity to earn even more emeralds. And then we're going to bring back a few other things from Overlook Bay back to Overlook RP. And then we're going to have a portal in Overlook RP that brings you to Overlook Bay. So when I say that, you'll get to go back to the game as it was before we made it Overlook RP, but it'll be like a new save in that game. So Overlook RP will still have all of your pets, everything, but if you really miss classic Overlook Bay, which we're calling like Overlook, I think Rebirth or Overlook Bay Rebirth or Reborn, you'll be able to play it as if it was like summer 2020 again and kind of start your journey new while you still have all of your same stuff from Overlook RP on the Overlook RP game. We're not going to discontinue or delete the games. I know I saw some people saying that. We will not be deleting them. Like, we want them to live on and be able to like play them and still raise your pets and decorate your houses and do everything like that as well. Tyson, you can call out things too if you see it, if I'm missing something, because I can't tell if you're snapping or something. Let me see. I'm just trying to catch up on the chat. Let's see. How about the auction house, farming, and cooking? Now, these are things we wanted to bring, but our team has grown in size, but these things take a lot of time and effort, and we just, I'm not going to say we don't have the time to do it, but it's like, I think the game is getting to a stage where obviously you guys can see there's not as many players, and like obviously we want to do what's best for our team so like they can have jobs for a very long time and that they're working on things that, you know, could have potential to be really, really successful. Like Overlook, if we talk about Overlook Bay, that was made with me as the game designer, and then we had one programmer and one environmental artist with like a contracted 3D modeler and a second programmer hopping on last second before release. So it was made by like a team of 3 to 5 people, and it was like our job 24/7. But then as Wonderworks Studio grew, we had other focuses because as we had more employees, we wanted to make sure that we could secure their future and make sure that themselves and their families and ourselves and everything we're trying to do is secure for the future. So that's definitely like on our growing pains and just not knowing how much time that would take and how much time it would eat up, because obviously we were training a lot of people, trying to make everyone as good as they could possibly be when it comes to working on Roblox and making cool games. So, but this is the project that like birthed Wonderworks Studios, and obviously I designed it, so I feel super close to it and I love it. It's like my dream game when I made Overlook Bay. That's why I think so many of you like it, because I play a ton of video games. I love so many, and I put what I would love to see in a game into one. So I understand. Let's see. I will take responsibility for how Overlook RP didn't turn out as we expected. I think that was another growing pain thing where last September we had 12 people, and then in December we had 50. So we were growing really fast, and Overlook RP was being developed, and it was dropped during that time, mid-December last year, and just things were chaos because we went from very small amount of people to a lot of new people. We were just trying to figure things out, and one of our like prides and joys kind of suffered from that. But I'm going to take it away as a lesson, like, and I know we will be better as things go forward. What's set for the future of Wonderworks? Anything you guys can tell us about for once Overlook is discontinued? I can say a few things. We are working on 5 of our own games right now at the same time. So I know a lot of people say you have a big studio. What are you doing with all of these people? We're making 5 games that Wonderworks will own, and we're also making a couple games for like really cool brands that we think would be fun to bring to Roblox, like we did with Puma and David Guetta. So right now we're working on 7 games as a studio at the same time, and we hope to have a few of them out this summer. And also we're working on a really, really big game that we've been working on almost for 2 years that will be out this fall or early winter, hopefully. I'm not going to say anything about that game because it's super top secret, but it is something we've been working on really, really long time, and we think you guys will like. Some of the other projects are a little bit smaller, but really, really fun. And I'm excited for you guys to see them. Just to speak to genres, we're making a simulator. We're making a horror game that is actually really scary and might make some people cry. It's terrifying. We're also making like a hack and slash game. So if you like feeling really powerful and like crushing through monsters and stuff, like we're gonna have something like that. And then we're making a really ambitious game that we hope can have a very long lifespan and potentially be like a multi-year project that just like lives for many, many years on Roblox. And then we have plans for a few other small projects that will probably kick off in the fall as well. So from us this year, just from Wonderworks games, you could see like 6 or 7 releases, and they'll all be varying genres, and they'll all be very different games. So some of you might like some of them, some of you might like all of them, and some of you might like none of them, but I do think we're putting our best foot forward and really building something cool. If you guys like Overlook Bay a lot, we are finally back in a place where I feel like we're as good as we were then, if not 10 times better. And I will say we're probably 10 times better now. So if you played Puma, you'll see like that game is really cool and it's like really polished and there's like lots of fun mini games like the soccer and the dodgeball. Like we're trying to do more ambitious things that hopefully will impress you guys. As we went from a small team to now like a big team, and we kind of have it figured out. We have some really cool people working for us, and everyone is just so excited to show you everything we've been working on. Will you do bug fixes if there are major bugs? This is a priority for us. We don't want to leave a game behind and like retire it if it's in like a really, really bad state. So if there are game-breaking bugs, we will address them when we bring our 2-year birthday update, like our sunset update. Let's see. Was there a specific reason you guys did Overlook RP instead of staying on Overlook Bay or making it Overlook Bay 2? So Overlook Bay was an amazing game, but it didn't really perform well on mobile. So a lot of people would tell us that they would crash and that their devices would get really hot, or it would be really hard for them to connect, or they would spawn underneath their houses. And that was because we made the old Overlook Bay as without really testing mobile. Like we were just making it plain on our computers. So that's why it worked pretty good on computer, especially desktop, maybe not laptop so much. So I think when we decided to do Overlook RP, it was like, how can we like still keep the same fun and charm, but allow it to work on like everyone's device, whether you have like an iPhone 7 or 8, or like an older Android phone, or like an older tablet, or an older laptop. We wanted everyone to be able to experience it. And obviously, if I could get it in a time machine and go back, I would not do that. But like, this is just a lesson learned. You know, I compare it to like, say I thought I didn't need to study for this specific test because I know history very well, and then I go take the test and I get like a D. Now I know, oh no, I have to study before I take my next history test, because I've learned a hard lesson. So obviously, like we tried to make it as good as possible for you guys. We did like a really generous Valentine's update that had a ton of free things. We tried not to like have a lot of Robux items or anything in there. And then same with like the Easter event, we really tried to just have a lot of cool things for you guys to collect and try to keep the Robux stuff limited. Obviously, we have to have some Robux stuff because it costs money to make the games, but we really tried to make it right. And I hope for some of you felt like, okay, there was a lot of cool free stuff to collect in the Valentine's event. We gave away a ton of wishes in the Valentine's event, like using some of the game mechanics. And I hope those felt good to you guys and that you felt right. Because once we switched to Overlook RP, we kind of knew we made a mistake, but there was no going back because we transferred everyone's data. So it was rough, and like obviously Christmas last year wasn't very good for us. We were stressing about Overlook. We were working really late nights, even during the holidays. And then we wanted to make sure we could have some type of break, and then coming back in January. Obviously, the last thing we want to do is disappoint you guys. That's why tweeting things that are this depressing isn't fun. But we have to be better at that, and I agree. Like, we should communicate with you guys even if it is bad news, and just hope to do better and continue to make better things. Let's see. I'm just trying to find more questions. That's not taking full responsibility. I'm sorry, I do take responsibility, and trust me, I feel very guilty about the decision to even switch to Overlook RP when we had a really solid community on Overlook Bay. And like I said, I hope we made it right with some of these events and gave you guys enough things that made it cool. And hopefully with this sunset update where we bring back the old Overlook Bay as well as a cool update to Overlook RP. So if you do like Overlook RP, because I know there are people that really do like it, there'll be some new content and new things to collect and some of the old Overlook Bay charm. But then if you want to restart and enjoy like Overlook Bay from the beginning, you can go back to the old Overlook Bay. Like, the coffee shop job will be there, all the activities. Like, it'll be kind of a fun, like, nostalgic experience. Let's see. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to find questions. Why can't we just make the old map connected to the map just like the North Pole was connected? So we can have our pets and all of our pets too. We can't really do that just because the new Overlook RP is on a different framework. So like, the framework is what the entire game runs off of, and it's where all the code lives. So like, they wouldn't mesh together. So basically, like, specific lines of code call for, like, let's see, does Zach have a unicorn pet? And on the old framework, it'll be like, yep, here's the unicorn, it's named Unicorn 1. But on the new framework, it'll be like, does Zach have a unicorn pet? And if we were using a combination of the two, they would get confused and be like, no, Zach doesn't have it. I don't see Unicorn 1 in Zach's Overlook RP inventory. So like, it would be really risky and people could lose everything. So we wouldn't want to risk that. Like, trust me, we've had a million meetings about how we could go back. So I will take responsibility. It was a mistake by us, and I hope we made it a little bit better in 2022, like with the Valentine's and the Easter thing, but I know there's not making it fully better or recuperating completely. What? You have a question? Which one? This one? You arrogantly ignored the community solutions to the problem of Overlook RP for 6 months and went ahead with your own plans, which you knew would go nowhere. So stop pretending you don't know why the game died. Oh, I know why the game died. I'm not pretending I don't know. I've said it in this call. We made a big mistake moving to Overlook RP, and we did it with the best intentions. We really thought it was going to be the best thing ever. We would not have spent nearly 4 months doing it and not doing a Halloween update or like a full Christmas update if we thought it was going to be a really bad idea. So I'll let you guys know, when we thought about Overlook RP, we thought we could have more people enjoy the game because they could play it. We thought the players that we had would have more people to trade with, more friends to make, because a new community would be introduced to the game and they could actually play it from their device. Because the old Overlook Bay would explode most cell phones. But then when we made the switch, we realized we actually made the original community upset, which in turn didn't bring any new community and was a huge mistake. So, which one? Will you apologize to the Star Program members who were expected to promote your games while you lied in an interview with Creekcraft and Roblox about actively helping the program despite you not having done anything for them in nearly a year? Yes, I would like to apologize to all of our stars. It's a program I started in hopes of really just running something amazing. And I think if you were part of the Star Program and you remember when we were a really small company at first, it was very active, and we were giving you guys things between Tyler, myself, Holiday Poner, Josh, we tried to make that program as good as possible. But then when we tried to build a better studio so we could make more games like Overlook, some things got lost in the fold, and we didn't have people like Christian, who's doing a great job, by the way. If you guys haven't met Christian, our community manager, we didn't have people like that. And also, I had to do other things. Like, if you look into the past, I designed Overlook, I helped market the game, I dealt with the stars and helped build out like a cool program that gave free stuff, and I recruited people. I was like, we'd love to see videos from you guys. So like, I was doing all of that, and I was also designing every update, and I was talking to every single employee because we only had like 4 or 5, and making sure that everything was done in time. And we pulled a lot of late nights and worked a lot of weekends when Overlook Bay and WonderWorks first became a thing. And I love it. I still love it. I wake up every day, I'm so happy, and I'm so excited to go to work and make these games we're making. And you're going to see, this is not a money grab for us. A lot of the games you're going to see released, like, there is Robux items, because obviously it costs money to make games, but that's not the focus. We're not trying to like get money from everyone so you can have fun. We want you to be able to have fun for free, but if you really are just loving the game, we want you to be able to support us as well. But that's our focus. We just want to make really cool games that have the spirit of Overlook, the spirit of when we were 4 or 5 people. And trust me, I know it sounds like now being 70 plus people is a bad thing, but it's not. Growing from 4 to 70 was hard though. So growing from 4 to 70 and having to figure out how to make that happen, it was really painful, and there was a lot of like long nights, and I have a lot of gray hair. You guys might not have seen me a lot recently, but I have a ton of gray hair now. But that's okay. Each gray hair is a lesson learned. So I feel like I've learned plenty of lessons, and I never wanted to be at the expense of you guys, our players, our fans. And I'm going to ensure that when we move forward, we try to avoid that at all costs. Now, there will be some games that we make that are meant to be like released and they're actually done. So say we make a story game in the near future, and it's just like a simple like escape grandma's house. Let's use that as an example. We're not actually doing this though. But say we do that. That's meant to be a game that's finished, and you play it, and maybe you play it a couple of times because it's kind of got some alternate endings or something, but then it's done. So we will make some games like that once released. That will be the content, and then it's done. But then we'll make games that hopefully we can support for months, and then we'll also make games that we can support for years. It just depends on when we consider like, okay, this game has everything we ever dreamed of it having. Now let's go on to the next. It's not us abandoning the games. We just really want to make featureful games that can be enjoyed on the platform for years to come. And we have a lot of great professionals. I will never pretend to know everything. When I made Overlook, it was my first ever game I made. I've never made a game before. I just played a lot of them. It actually makes me happy to see how many of you like the game, and it motivates me every day to do better and make better. I see someone say, I saw the basketball simulator Twitter. Do you have a release date? We do not have a release date. It is one of the games we plan to have out this summer. But that is, again, showing you what we're trying to do. We're trying to be like a very diverse studio that can offer like sports games and horror games and simulators and hack and slash, and we want to be able to appease all of your guys' cravings and itches and hopefully make a ton of you happy. Do you plan to make a game similar to Overlook in the future? I think when it comes to pet collection and pet raising, we've had multiple conversations about what future games could look like, but they wouldn't be what Overlook was. So say we were to explore this genre again, I'd say Overlook was definitely obviously super inspired by Animal Crossing and Adopt Me. I think if we were to approach this again, I would be more inspired by Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley, and like Nintendogs. So if we were to make a game that would be in this genre, it would be more about like actually raising one singular pet and like teaching them tricks and building a bond with them versus trading them. And then also like maybe farming would be an element where you're like building out your farm with your like these farm animals and like raising crops. Like I wanted to add farming to Overlook because I love farming. I grew up on a farm. My grandparents had a dairy farm with 200 cattle and 200 acres of land, and I got to go there all the time, and I loved it. So if we did another pet game, it would probably be like where you have a specific pet or two that you really just love, and you're raising them and growing a bond with them and teaching them tricks. And then you live on a cool farm, you like raise your farm animals and breed them and raise little baby cows and stuff. Like, I think that would be like my next dream, like casual game. Because Overlook Bay was a casual RPG. So if we were to do another casual RPG like that, I think that would be the focus.
Zach, Megan's still part of the company, right?
Yes. Megan's a co-founder. We couldn't have done this without Megan. She's not involved on the day-to-day. So if you direct any hate at her, please just direct it at me. She doesn't know what goes on every single day. She is not part of this decision. It falls on me. It's my fault. It's not Megan's. So, you know, don't think that like every decision was Megan's ultimate decision. So obviously she's very involved in the company, and she helps us make games that are fun for like YouTubers to play and that she thinks her audience would enjoy. And she gives us a lot of advice. But I don't want you guys to think she was the one that like killed Overlook or canceled a game that you liked. At the end of the day, that's multiple people's decision in the company.
Very corporate sponsored events fulfilling, because that's why Overlook Bay is being sacrificed for, which is
So the question is, I'll repeat it just in case you guys can't hear Tyson. Are our corporate games, so branded experiences, fulfilling because this person thinks the branded experiences are what caused us not to have a team on Overlook? They are fulfilling. They allow for a lot of our staff to get new experience, and they allow us to learn different genres of games. Like before Puma, we've never made a sports game, so that was really cool. They allow us to work with cool brands and cool influencers, and they provide some money to the studio so we can keep people with really cool jobs and support their families and their dreams and ambitions. If you guys follow our Instagrams and our Twitter, and if you're on LinkedIn, which probably not many of you guys are, you could see that working in our office is really fun, and like we're like a big group of friends, and I think that's going to come through in a lot of the games we start to build for you guys and that you start to see come out. It's very collaborative, and we're just shooting out tons of ideas, and it's a fun place to be, and you'll see that hopefully reflected in the games. But no, Overlook had a team on it all the way until the Easter event, and it's going to have a team on it again in a couple weeks to finish the Sunset event. So Overlook, if you think about it this year, when we came back in January from Christmas break, we immediately started the Valentine's event, and we were working on it 24/7 until its release, well, every workday, I should say. Then, after that, we moved to the Easter event, and we were working on that every workday with a team, and it was a very large team. It was one of the largest teams ever in Overlook history for the Easter event. I think it was nearly 18 people that did the Easter event. So we really threw everything at it. We really thought the Easter event was going to be big and cool, and I think a lot of you guys enjoyed it. We had like go-kart racing. We had our first flying and riding pet, which props to Adami. It's really, really hard to do that. And yeah, I think it was a really cool event, and I hope you guys liked it. But we have always had a team on Overlook, and it's traditionally been one of our biggest projects. So obviously, we were definitely doing that because we just love Overlook, because obviously we saw players going down, 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 and we just didn't know really how to fix it without going back, and there was no going back. So again, like, it was painful to
watch. Why did you play any of your games in the future, considering the reputation and how you've continuously let your community down like that?
I would never blame you guys. This is not your fault. I don't know who would blame the fan base of Overlook. Like, you guys are great people, and you guys gave me 2 of the best years of my life. Megan and I had a very stressful experience in game design. The week of our wedding in 2019, we released a game called Robloxia World that we didn't make, but we paid for and helped make, in a sense, but we didn't develop it. And it was a really stressful experience, and it didn't go well. And from that, Megan felt really defeated, but I thought, let's try making one more game, and that was Overlook. So Overlook really brought me out of a dark place. It was a really stressful time, and we made Overlook in quarantine. So in February of 2020, we were quarantined, and for 5 months, the team of Overlook were like my best friends, and some of them are still my best friends today. And we were working together late nights, play testing on the weekend. It's like, it was a passion project, and it birthed a really cool company with awesome people.
It seems like updates are more scarce with more employees. When there were few, we had a lot more cool, detailed updates. What's up with that?
Yeah, I think we focused on two really big updates in the first 4 months of the year. So like Valentine's took like 2 months to make, and Easter took a little bit more than that. It took like 10 to 12 weeks, which is a long time with a team of 18. It was a very big update. Even if you didn't think it was that big in your mind, it just took a lot of work. Because if you notice, all the pets in Overlook now are really custom with their animation. Like all of their idols are really funny and cute. Like if you stand there long enough, some of the pets do really quirky, random things. Like, and that was a lot of work. Like every pet has like 8 animations. So when we drop like 15 pets in an update, you're looking at nearly 160 animations. So, like to be exact, it's like 120 animations.
Will you continue to prioritize collab games over your original games in the future?
No, never. That's not the intent. You guys just haven't seen what we've been doing in the last few months. So with when it's collab games slash branded games, I assume you're talking about, we're only doing a few of those a year, like a handful. But when it comes to our own games, we hope to drop like many, and obviously support them too. I know that sounds like it's not true because it doesn't feel like we've supported Overlook or Trader or Timmy, but we have the setup now where people are going to be able to really support these games when we release them. So, like I said, we will have games that we plan to never support because it's like maybe a one-off game or a story, and it's just meant to be a fun experience. Even the branded games, like we don't get a say if they get updates. So if you really like a branded game and it doesn't get an update, that's just it's on whatever the brand's interest is. But trust me, we would love to update all the games. And when we look at MetaMall, we made that as like a game that doesn't need to be updated. It's a way to shop the catalog and try stuff on before you buy. It auto updates itself when new items go into the catalog. So that wasn't meant to be like a big roleplay experience. We just wanted it to have features where you could roleplay as you try on cool clothes. With Trader, we wanted to see how quickly we could make a game if we were like just really scrappy. And we made that game in like almost like 3 to 4 weeks. And it was meant to just be like a fun competitive round-based game. And the intention was never to update it 1,000 times. It was to like get it to a place where it felt like there was enough maps to play, enough tasks to do. Obviously, we would love to have done another season, but again, as we were growing, we just had to make this tough decisions, essentially.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Keegan. Overlook RP died because you wasted all your resources on seasonal events, not permanent content. The only objective is getting pet pods. Nobody enjoys that.
I agree. I think that's like a lesson we learned. Like we thought you guys would, because like so many people talk about the first ever Halloween event and the first ever Christmas event and how fondly they remember those. So we really thought, and I think the actual first mistake starts with Arcadia Isle. We really thought a massive expansion, bigger than anything we've ever done, was always the best decision, which we learned over time that it wasn't. Like Arcadia Isle, when we released it, a lot of people actually didn't like it. Now that it's gone, people miss it. But again, like that was the mistake we made this year when we when we focused on the Valentine's event and Easter event. We thought that was what people really wanted. But again, like we learned that it's better to just have consistent new content that will be in the game forever than one-time events that can be really cool and really big, but then it's only 4 weeks or 3 weeks of fun. So you won't see that mistake repeated, and I hate that. Like my pride and joy was like a guinea pig, but
Will you personally apologize to each member of this program? And where you apologize here, but the vast majority of the program. We do want to do something
Yeah, so apologizing to the STAR program, Christian, our new community manager, is working hard on building out a new STAR program that will be better than it was when it was good. So there was times when the program was good. This new program will be better because we're going to have a lot of new games. It won't be just one, and there'll be a lot of perks that can be received, like from free in-game items to early access to beta testing. Like, we want to use the STAR program as a way for you to get sneak peeks at what we're working on, and to also get to make early videos, see updates early, get some free items. We want to support our stars, and we always have. We just had a hard time finding a really good person like Christian, and now we have him. And you guys are already probably seeing some really good change, and you'll see even more good change throughout this summer. It's a priority of mine to get that situated before we get new games out, so that people have early access and feel like part of it. We want your opinions on new games, so we release things you like and enjoy. Is Overlook Bay Rebirth or the new version of Overlook Bay going to have updates? No, it's meant to release it as like a legacy product. Like, here is Overlook Bay Classic. Enjoy it for all of its classic fun. So if you really love just like playing Overlook Bay and just really enjoyed everything about it, that's our goal, to kind of bring that back. Overlook RP will get that big last update, and then it'll be like 2 different games you can enjoy, or enjoy them both if you like them both. I don't know who Dodgy Dave is. um, let's see. I know this may seem intrusive, but have you guys made a lot of money? Your games don't seem very popular, but you have a lot of staff. I would not say we've made a lot of money. I think we have a lot of passionate people that are excited about making games, and we have the ability to make those games because we have enough money. Like, no one at Wonderworks is doing it to get rich. We're doing it so we can make many experiences that have the impression on like people that games had on us as I grew up. Like, when I think of some classic games that I enjoyed more than anything, I think of like Harvest Moon and like Animal Crossing and The Sims, and I basically enjoy every game. Like, I also enjoy sports games like Madden and FIFA, and I also enjoyed games like World of Warcraft and Diablo. So like, and they have a huge impact on me, and I think about those games when I design games still today. So I think that's our ultimate goal. Obviously, we would love to do well by everyone that's part of our company and make money and allow them to continue to grow as people, and that's the ultimate goal. We want people to be able to work with us and grow with us, and be a part of our work family for decades to come. But at the end of the day, all we're really trying to do is make really cool games that hopefully have a lasting impression on you guys.
Couple of questions real quick before I lose them. So are your future games going to have an expiration date? Because every single game you built has stopped being updated. How should we trust you with your future games and money? I think that Wonderworks Studios needs to have some more transparency about what games are test subjects. So expiration dates are clarification that this is a pet project needs to be put into place going forward.
Yeah, I think, it'll be clear enough. What we're going to try to do to be transparent is, obviously, say we drop a simulator and like your average simulator gets, let's say, 20 updates. That's what we're always going to aim for. If like the average game gets 6 updates, we're going to at least aim for that, because eventually, like, say we're making a simple simulator where you give people high fives, which we're not doing that. But say you give people high fives over and over again, and you give high fives in different cool little worlds, and you're just giving high fives all day. Eventually, no matter what we add, the game's complete, because like you've given people a million high fives, and you feel satisfied. So games like that will come to an end. Like, really simple games, I won't even say an end. It's just like they will have a finish.
Well, Rick
Like,
didn't mention is another person asked, maybe make sure your games have updates are basically done before teasing them. But that's what we're doing now. We're having some updates planned before we even launch.
Yeah, so with the basketball game we're working on, there's going to be a couple big updates already ready before the game comes out. So that way we don't disappoint you guys by missing update release schedules. And we've learned, that was a tough lesson we learned too. We've learned a lot of really tough lessons, but I feel good about everything we're working on now. And I try to be honest with you guys about everything I can tell you. That's why I'm doing this. I definitely don't want you to feel ignored or feel like we're up to no good, because it's the opposite. I mean, I fight for you guys every day. I think about you guys every day. And every time I go to make a new experience where we greenlight something in Wonderworks, it's like, what will our fans think? So that you guys are at the forefront of every discussion and every decision made. Sometimes we don't know what you'll think, or we think we do, but we don't. And like with Overlook RP, we made a big mistake. But I hope that we can do better for you guys, and we'll continue to.
Will you personally, I think you answer this, but will you personally apologize to each member of the sub?
Yeah, I mean, I will go into the star chat. I will talk to any star that wants to talk to me, and I will apologize. I am sorry, and I'll apologize here. And if anyone needs a private apology, I will give that. So obviously, yeah, there's many influencers that we've lost, and it saddens me. So I want to make sure we can bring those people back potentially, or at least apologize and mend a fence. Will your games have better performance on PC and mobile? So good news is we are actually designing our games right now as if we are a mobile studio. So we're thinking about mobile first, because we know a lot of you guys play on tablet and phone. So when we design our games, we're making sure that they're designed best for mobile. And obviously they'll still be amazing on PC, because if it works on a phone, it definitely works on a computer. But we're approaching it as if it's only going to be played on mobile, which we know it won't be. But that's how we're kind of approaching things.
Zach, I have a question. Can you please explain what are your plans? We had some of this, but every time the chat goes down. Zach, I have a question. Can you please explain what are your plans and goals for all your current games? What are your plans for your community in the terms of playing your games? How can we trust you again with your so many promises about updates, so many lies, promises, promising us what you can't do and can do? We need this question answered.
Yeah. So with branded games, there's nothing I can promise. Like sometimes when we release a branded game, we think that it's going to get years worth of updates, and then the brand will tell us they've changed their mind potentially. Sometimes when a branded game is released, we know that there's not going to be any updates. It's just going to be a fun, cool game. So like with branded games, I probably can't promise anything. But with our own games, what I can say is we're always going to put our best foot forward. We're going to try to make the best game we possibly can. We're going to take every lesson we've learned over the past 2 years of existing as a studio and apply it to future games. I will say, obviously with Overlook and Trader and Timmy, those games helped us get better as a studio. They helped us build a fan base that we love. They ignited all of our passion and helped start a studio that has so many great people a part of it every single day. So what I can promise with our new games is they're going to be well thought out. They're always going to get better. Game after game, we will get better as a studio, whether it's the art or the programming or the mobile performance or just how we support it or you enjoy it. We hope to just continue to improve.
Why was the decision made to make another Pride event? Last year there was one only item, and the profits went to charity.
Yes, so we did talk about this today, actually. We were referencing the Pride bike last year from Overlook. Now we know Overlook doesn't have enough players, and we don't expect our players to help contribute to a charity when we haven't done anything to help them lately. So what we're going to do as Wonderworks, as at the end of the month, we're going to make a donation as a studio, the same charity that we did last year, the Trevor Project. So we're going to have that tweet go up. We'll showcase the donation. You guys can see it, but we won't require you guys to help us out. Because last year what we did was whatever you guys contributed, we matched. And this year we're just going to do it all. So obviously we're still super supportive. It means the world to us. Pride Month is very close, near and dear to my heart. We have like so many family and friends that it affects and that have to live through everything that has happened in media and throughout the last few decades. So we will be still donating. We just won't be expecting you guys to contribute any Robux or anything.
Can you create more badges associated with the milestones in Overlook Bay and some of the pets that can give exclusive items in your new games?
Sorry, what did you say?
Can you create more badges associated with milestones in Overlook Bay and some of the pets that can give exclusive items in your new games. That would give incentives to play the new ones.
Yep.
That way, the same way Minimum Badge gave you minimum
So
off.
if you couldn't hear Tyson, he said, will we implement badges into Overlook that allow you to get exclusive items in our new games if you had like an Overlook rank or item or anything? And the answer to that is yes. Like we've completely talked about that. We won't necessarily have to implement new badges. We're going to utilize like president rank potentially or VIP or like spend X amount of hours. Like we're going to utilize the badges that already exist. So that way when you load into one of our new games, we'll let you know like, hey, yeah, this game has like a free exclusive item if you were mayor in Overlook, or if you were president in Overlook, or if you had this specific pet, then it'll basically be, or if you played the beta of Overlook Bay. Like, so we plan on doing that with many of our games. I can't say all of them because, you know, like I can't be in charge of the sponsored games or like the branded games, but like most of our games going forward will have some type of integrations from previous games. We really like the MetaMall thing with MetaMall. That was so fun, and it gave you guys a really cool pet, and it let you experience like something new we were working on. So we're definitely going to be doing more of that. So if you feel like you put a lot of time into Overlook, it won't be for naught. Obviously, you got to enjoy the game and have all those great memories, but you'll also be able to get perks for future games as well. Let's see. Is Arcadia Isle going to be back? Yes, it'll be back in Overlook Bay Classic, not in Overlook RP, but you'll be able to enjoy all of that again in Overlook Bay Classic.
Okay. Let's get some of the final questions out. It's a little hard to read some of these, but
Okay, so if your question hasn't been answered right now, ask it again.
ping me and I'll try to see it.
You could ping at, what is it, Wonderworks Tyson?
Yeah, they know. Okay, so everybody, is it going to be updated? Trader was already thrown out, so from my understanding, the OG games aren't going to be updated. You're putting on new games.
Yes, the plan right now is like we learned a lot of lessons. The people that worked on those older games were part of a smaller studio, and now we're all part of this bigger thing, and we have a lot of exciting projects that are coming.
Will every single thing that has gone, if anyone is planning to be brought back, just the old pods and crates? Would Overlook Bay just turn into a simulator game by just collecting gems, emeralds, buying over and over?
So when we bring back Overlook Bay, it's going to be the classic game. It won't be like the Christmas update and Halloween stuff, because that wouldn't be fair to players that collected that stuff and really enjoy it during the time. But it'll be like the base game with like all the additional pets we even added. It won't just be the 19 pets, but it won't be the pets from Overlook RP. So whatever pets were in there in December before we switched over, that kind of stuff will and should also be available.
Is anything acquired in Overlook Classic saved? If I get a pet or a currency and I leave a regional.
So everything you collect in the new Overlook Bay Classic will save. So basically, if you play new Overlook Bay Classic and earn 1,000 gems, you'll have 1,000 gems next time you log on. It will be like a new experience.
It's like, that's why we mentioned in the video. It's like playing for the very first time again. If you're aiming for the server to be 0% negative, then you give up. There's like 20% people, or then it was replying to someone else. Oh, so I didn't need to spend 500 gems before you switch the game. Well, you won't have those gems on that game. You don't have your items.
So your save from old Overlook Bay is now on Overlook RP. So on Overlook RP, you will have everything. Overlook Bay Classic is just us bringing it back for nostalgia's sake, so you can play Overlook Bay from the start. So you'll still have everything on Overlook RP that you have and the new update, and Overlook Bay will be something new that you can play.
Songs of Overlook? Put that on YouTube?
Oh, yeah. We have like a lot of cool stuff coming with the soundtrack. A lot of you guys want the Overlook Bay Classic music. Obviously, that'll be in the Overlook Bay place. And the Overlook RP game will still have Overlook RP music, but you can enjoy both soundtracks then by jumping back and forth.
Any final questions? Will the Classic Overlook Bay have Arcadia? Yes.
Yep, it'll have Arcadia Isle. It'll have everything it had in December. What do you guys do a game like Trader? We actually have explored doing other round-based games, other shooters. So you could definitely expect stuff like that somewhere.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you making a simulator game? Yes. We're making a few games right now, and we're just trying to do a lot of different stuff. So, like, you guys can.
What about the people that wasted hundreds of Robux and time in Overlook RP? That still exists.
It also will be there. I hope it doesn't feel like a waste to you guys to have created the memories you did and meet the people you have and enjoy the gameplay when it was there, because it still will be there. You'll still have all the items. You're not going to lose anything. So, and obviously as we learn more about Overlook Bay Classic, we'll continue to update you on like what we're going to be able to accomplish when we bring that as well.
How will people with the manager game pass play manager in Overlook Bay when it gets turned into the mayor one?
It's a separate game.
Game.
So basically, if you had the manager / mayor game pass, it'll be mayor in Overlook RP, and it'll be manager in Overlook Bay.
Will a Wonderworks Studio game, non-sponsored, release before the Overlook RP birthday update?
We should have one release before then. We hope to even have 2. So, but hey, don't. That's not a promise, but that's our goal.
Will there be B-Day pets?
I don't know. We're still scoping out the update.
Can you just add all the pets ever released in Overlook Bay 1 so it will take a longer time for us to enjoy the game? All the pets will be back in Overlook Bay 1.
Yeah, all the pets will be back in Overlook Bay 1 except like the exclusive Halloween and like Easter and Christmas and Valentine's pets. Like they'll still be there if you, they'll still be in Overlook RP if you had them. So you still have those.
One second. So many people are messaging me.
Please listen to Julia Lester wondering when this call is over. The call is wrapping up soon. Do you have anything to say about the hundreds of players wanting refunds on items they bought in your game? I guess I feel really bad that you guys feel that way. I wish there was something we could do, but we don't even have control over that. But we hope you enjoyed the items and continue to enjoy them. The game's not going away. We're not deleting it. So if you have like a special pet that you love, you can still enjoy that pet and continue to raise it and play the game. Will there be a pet in the wishing well for Overlook Bay? It could be interesting to explore bringing one of the old wishing well pets back. I'll have to see what we decide. Sorry, we can't let anyone talk in the stage. Not that we don't trust you, but we just don't want anyone to say anything like that's a swear word or something. After the final update, if there's a massive bug, would you fix it? Yes. I mean, we would hope to get most of the bugs out as we make the update. And obviously, we could be flagged for that. And if you see like a big bug, let us know. But if it's a small thing, we'll try to get to it when we can. But the big stuff will definitely not.
Do you hate when you burn your mouth with curry? Of course.
That is very painful. What? I missed one. You took very tough questions today. Thanks for doing this Q&A. I just want to be more transparent, and I try to be as much as possible. I will let you guys know, like, I would live in this Discord if I could. I love seeing your fan art. I love seeing your opinions. I live for it. But some days I just have so many things going on that I just have to rely on all the great people we've brought into this company to help, like, with our vision. I think we're getting there. Christian's doing an amazing job. Will you replace the chick before you end Overlook RP? Let me think about it. We're still scoping out the update and trying to figure out what we can all do. Obviously, I think it would be something I would love to do, but I can't guarantee anything yet. And we will give you more details and we'll be super transparent as we design it. I actually sprained my foot. That's why I was at the doctor today, so I have like a fun little boot. But I am going to spend next week documenting what this update will look like. And I'll be working on the update like the old times, old days. So I'll let you know, and I'll be super transparent. When will OB Classic come? It will be a part of the update in late July, because our birthday is July 27th. We need a goodbye cow. The nostalgia. No, all the cows. No one understands the cow thing. Some people are like, why is there so many cows in the game? Like, you don't understand. Cows are life. The final cow. It's just like some nuclear doomsday cow. Sounds like end of the world apocalyptic cow. Is the old Overlook Bay map going to have any type of teleport to the North Pole? I have asked questions about the Christmas event from 2020, and if we could bring it back, I don't know if it's 100% possible, but trust me, if there is a way, I will try to make it happen, even if it's brought back potentially this Christmas with nothing new, but just to live the nostalgia of the little mini games and stuff. But like, we'll see. If you guys don't know this, things break on Roblox over time, even if you didn't break it. So like, as the platform updates, since the holiday event is almost 2 years old, it might not work.
That's something like Crystal Caught. Trader generated bugs if we haven't updated them. How would you fix the bugs? It's like 2 years later, it's like it doesn't work.
Yeah, that's what's hard. Like, obviously, like if it's game breaking, we would love to address it. So, I think when we let a product go, it's not that it's dead and never going to work again. That's not our goal. So I think if Trader is broken and say rounds don't load or the game doesn't let you win, ultimately we would fix something like that. Are we gonna put everything we discussed in a live post or an announcement? I don't know if this is recorded.
Someone probably recorded it.
If someone recorded it, I welcome you to ping Christian and get him that video, and we'll try to get a version of it up. If Trader is broken, let me investigate. If it is broken and it doesn't work to play, I would love to fix it. Because I'm sure it's something pretty simple to fix. No. Let's see. We need all old event items somehow being implemented in OB, please. I think that would make some people mad. I don't know. I don't know. I can't promise anything because I am not a programmer, so I have to ask many questions. I just make Word documents of ideas. It's been broken for months, such as kill effects and the circus map. Okay. Okay, thanks, Diamonds in the Sky. Okay, we'll have to look at it because I don't want anything to be broken. I never said I was honey. That's not true.
Honey lives in the rainbow.
Honestly, I feel like a lot of our important questions have been answered. I appreciate that you did this QA. Thank you. I mean, I would love to do more stuff like this, and we will. Like I said, we finally got to a place where everyone is just ready to go at the studio, and we're doing really cool stuff all the time. So it was stressful, but now it feels good. So Gravestone Cow. Aw, no. Trust me, when it comes to making another style game like a casual RPG, we definitely will do something like that in the future. It's a genre that I love.